Hey, Eli here. Today I have 5 tips for you for editing to get through your images quickly and stay consistent. Tip number 1, I'm going to go through these after, but I'll just tell you, it's culling, getting through all of your images really quickly so you narrow that down so you're not getting burnt out on editing images. Number 2 is going to be editing in a situation where you have a calibrated monitor and calibrated lights in your studio or wherever you're working, so a consistent spot. I use all daylight lights. I use Godox. Any brand will work, but I use something that's calibrated to daylight so my eyes don't change as I'm editing. If you go edit different locations, you can have issues. Number 3 is create a good preset that represents your brand and stick with it. You can always adjust it, but find something that's consistent and lay that over your images before you even start editing. And then use an AI tool to speed up the process. There's several out there now, and it's really helpful. But if you put that in your workflow, it's going to be very, very fast and just help you speed up that process. Sometimes up to 80% faster. And be quick. Don't just sit on images. So yeah. So let's just start from the top. Narrative select. Started with narrative publish, and then they went into select. It's an AI tool that will scan all your images, and it will kind of give you like it'll sort them out if you want. You can have like ones that are out of focus or eyes closed, just unviewable, and you can just not see them, or you can go through and there'll be like little color coding around the eyes or focus and let you know quickly as you're culling that it is in or out of focus or eyes are closed just by viewing them. I prefer narrative select due to the fact that I photograph a lot of weddings. For portrait sessions, I'm not as concerned, but weddings, I want to go through every single image no matter what. I don't want to trust on an AI tool to pick out an image that maybe I made a panoramic, or maybe I just, wanted them to close their eyes. So, which happens a lot. I say, hold each other tight, close your eyes, and think about the honeymoon, something like that. And so, so I'm not going to rely on an AI tool to just go and sort that out for me, but having the tools to color code and all that and zoom in, there's a panel on the right on narrative. So let's jump into narrative right now. I'm just going to show you some images from a trip I took with my family. We went to the Caribbean and then to Austin, Texas. So once you get your images into narrative, it's going to take maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. And this up here, you'll see a status bar up here in the sorted images or the coding. So it shows unlikely pics and undesirable pics. So if I'm doing a family session or personal work, I'll most likely just click on show potential pics. And I just got rid of 628 images and 295 images that I'm probably not going to look at or need. On a wedding day, I will not do that because I want to make sure I look through every single thing, because there could be a moment in there where someone's eyes were closed, but maybe they're crying. You never know. So for portraits, families, personal work, I'm not too concerned about that. So it will show, let's just pick on my daughter here, and I'm in the grid view. If I press spacebar, I go into this view. If I select this little face here, it'll zoom in on all the faces, even if there's a bunch of faces, which is super convenient. And it shows here on the bottom, eyes partially open, great focus. And let's go to an image, I don't know if I have one in here with multiple people. There we go. All right, cool. So here, I've already called these, but this one here, it's going to show on the right panel everybody's face. And yep, so we can see really quickly, even up to 30 people, I think, maybe more than that, it'll show all the faces. And, if I sorted these out, it's going to give me the more desirable pics, but this is super convenient. You can see here the color coding on each image. And as you go through images, it is extremely fast, really quick. You can also jump scenes. So if I press the left and right, I'm jumping through scenes, different groupings of images. And if I go up and down, it's individual images. So we'll just jump through really fast. So these would have been undesirable pics probably. Just got her face covered there. But yeah, so this software is phenomenal. So I'll go through and I'll rate all these. You can use your own rating system, however works for you. But just a super, super convenient tool. And this is going to be the quickest way to get through your images so that when you do get into editing, you're not wasting time editing images that you're not going to use, because that will drain the life out of you. I'll generally shoot on a wedding day around 10,000 images on average. If I'm shooting an 8-hour day, usually it turns into 9. And I have a second shooter. He's probably going to shoot 3,000. I'm probably going to shoot over 6,000 with 3 cameras. And so this gets it down to around 10 to 12 right out the bat. And then from there, I can go into my editing process. And so narrative is just amazing. So what I do with this narrative is you can ship it over, or I'll just go through into Lightroom and I'll select images, right click, read metadata, and it's already embedded the metadata for the rating system. And so it just sorts or adds all the rating metadata in there. And so all I got to do is just sort by the star system, and then I just pull all the used ones that I'm going to use into a folder, and then I'll start editing there. So yeah, narrative is just phenomenal. I love it. I've been using it since it came out, and have not found anything better. I've tried other softwares, but yeah, I love them. Next would be your eyes change. So like if you were to put on like different pair of sunglasses that have like like a warmer tone to them or cooler, you take them off, you can see that your eyes adjusted, just like they do when it's dark or light. So I recommend getting a room that has daylight coming in or use daylight calibrated lights as best as possible as you can. I have studio lights, super easy for me. Got a big light above me right now at 6 feet, and it's an umbrella, and that's what I use for for all my work. Every time I'm working in here, that's what's on. It's almost dark in my studio at most times, and so that's just my only light source, and it's how it allows me to stay consistent with editing. If I go in the living room, my studio or my house, my island, the lights are a little bit different, so I try not to edit there too much, but there are times when I have to. But just be aware of that wherever you are editing. Make sure you don't have really warm or yellow lights or super cold blue lights, because it will affect. And then you always want to calibrate your monitor. I have the Data Color Spider X Pro. I've had this for a while. I calibrate every 6 months. Get whatever works for you, but that's been awesome for me. The next thing you want to do is you want to build a preset that represents your brand, and you want to use it on pretty much everything. If you're shooting commercial work, you can create a preset for that. If your weddings, that, families, that, and so on. I have several presets for several different types of work. So headshots are very basic. Weddings have a little more creativity, and then families are backed off a little bit from that, a little more basic, because we're just capturing that family. I don't need to go all crazy with editing or any stylizing. Where I feel weddings, you want a little more of that for the creative portraits and emotions that are created on a wedding day. For me, I create a preset that does not affect, I'll just show you here on my screen, I'm not affecting white balance or exposure. I go back and forth on lens correction. I do leave it on, and then I don't want obviously crop or masking or transform. So create a preset that just represents all of that for you, because the other things are going to change. Cropping, obviously, exposure and white balance are going to be the number 1 and 2. That you're going to change as you're editing. So find something that represents your brand, consistent. I have presets that I've been working on over the years, and so they just are what I find works best on an overall wedding day, ranging from portraits to candles to whatever details to families. So I'm kind of more, I think, on the basic end of editing, kind of like a VSCO film base in the beginning, and then it just has evolved. So, but I've created mine from scratch, and they've been working good for me. So create something that works for you, or buy one. That always helps too. If you need a starting point, if you're new, that's great. So yeah, you want to create that branded preset, and then you want to integrate an AI. If you're going to work as much as I do, a lot of volume, a lot of images. I think I took 400,000 images last year. I don't even know, a lot. You're going to want to have an AI tool in place. You don't always have to use it, but you want it integrated into your workflow so that if you do need to use it, it's pretty seamless and works well. I prefer Develop at the moment. I've used Imagine. Imagine has been awesome. Develop is, how do you spell it? It is DVLOP. Impossible Things, it's called. It's from Develop, the preset company. So Impossible Things is their sub brand. And it is an in-app integrated software. You can just go and use their photographers that they've chosen. They're all great photographers, and use their presets, or you can use your own presets. What I like about Develop is you can pivot at any time and use a different preset. So if I'm using something for headshots, and I've got a lot of headshots, I could do that. Families, weddings, commercial work, I can pivot, just use that preset for that one. So I'm just going to give you a little demo here. I've just selected some images from my trip. I'm going to select them all. I'm going to go to the grid menu. I'm going to go up here to File, and we are going to select Plugin Extras and Edit Photos. You can do some custom tuning if you want. That is helpful if you find they're too warm or too cold. You can also dial down the AI effect, so like how much AI does. So I'm just going to click Edit Photos on these. Okay, it's like a JPEG or something selected. So all right, so you have cropping if you want. I don't use cropping. I'll crop on my own. Noise reduction. I'm just going to click that one because I know I have an image in here. I think that's 10,000 ISO. See what happens. Perspective straightening is amazing. It straightens your images That's probably one of the number one most helpful tools here, other than, exposure and white balance. Adaptive lens correction is fine. AI enhanced subject, it will select the subject, I think darken the background a little bit, and then AI retouch portrait, obviously awesome. Can't go wrong with that. So I've selected 22 images. I'm going to see how long this takes. It's pretty quick. I might speed it up, but for the video, but I might not need to. Just wait this out and see what happens. Pretty quick. You can kind of see some of them getting straightened. Awesome. Okay. So that was pretty quick. I mean, less than a minute for sure. Easy. And just going to kind of run through a couple of these images. The one I do want to select here, I want to start with this one, just because I know is at 10,000 ISO. See what happens with develop, zoom in, and I want to see what it did. That's kind of funny, it darkened. I don't know why I did that. But it kept most of my preset for the most part. I think everything's here. It's the basic B preset for Canon. But yeah, it looks like I cleaned it up a little bit. Let me see if I go toggle on and off. Yeah, like a little bit of AI reduction. And I have grain on there, so let's turn off the grain. So there's no grain on there now, it's just noise. But yeah, it looks like it reduced the noise a little bit. So, but anyway, it edited the image, which looks great, in my opinion. I'm just going to go backwards through my trip real quick, really fast. And I would just kind of go through and edit these as I would edit, things I would change a little bit. And just kind of sort through. Clara, my daughter, found Clara Street. We're eating barbecue. And these are all, looking pretty amazing. I just want to show you something here. If I press K, you can see how it looks like it didn't do it on this one. All right, go to the next one. Yeah, no teeth. But it will retouch, whiten teeth, fun little things like that. We'll get to an image. These are all looking awesome. And the shadows up just a little bit. But yeah, these are awesome. So here when we can see, well, looks like it didn't get them, but it's supposed to select teeth and eyes. But maybe I was just a little too far away. So keep going through here, show you before and after. Oh, actually that was already edited, so it's not going to show the full before. So this one I might just slightly adjust the white balance just a little bit, just tap a cloud. And this one's looking good. This looks great. Some random guy named Preston I met. It's fun to talk to strangers. He's on vacation. Just talked his wife into letting him buy this outfit, which is awesome. And this one missed a little on the straightening. I'll fix that. And I'd probably cool it off just a little bit just to show that blue water. And this here did not edit. So that's probably because it's a JPEG. I think, I don't know what kind of file this is. Yeah, it's a drone file. But anyway, keep moving on. This one here. Just crop a little bit. Other than that, it's great. And this one here, I'd probably brighten up a little bit. So keep going. This one here, I would definitely adjust that white balance a little bit to show off that blue water. And this one might bring up a little bit. And up a little bit. That one's awesome. This one's great. And just white balance off the wall. I do find over several years of selecting white balance that gray is usually always the best place to select white balance from. And then better yet is always your light source. So light's coming in through the window. So if I come over here, yeah, I can get a little more accurate reading where that light's hitting the hardest. And so you always want to just pick the white balance off your light source wherever you want it to show an accurate white balance. Obviously I want her face to be accurate. So the rest of the image, I can work with, but I'll start with her. And yeah, this one's great. So awesome. So yeah, the last thing I would say, as you can see, as I was jumping through these images, be quick. Like, don't sit on an image. Sometimes you think, it's a wedding day, it's very special. Obviously it is, but you really just need to be efficient and quick. The end result's going to be probably far high above expectations from your client. for the most part. I have high standards for myself and my own work, but still, when I'm going through 12,000 images, if I shoot 3 weddings in a row, you can do the math on that. It's a lot of images to go through and then edit. You know, it's a lot. So you want to be quick, consistent. You can always go back and fix stuff. If the client finds out that you find something that you miss, like retouching or whatever, you can always revisit that. That's no big deal. Just communicate that to them that if they have something that they need retouched, then you can. I usually put a limit on that, like 5 per hour. So if it's an 8-hour wedding day, 40. Which is usually plenty for a client. But once you get into that like 100 range, you're really kind of like it can be rough going back, selecting the images, finding them, retouching them. So yeah, hopefully this video is helpful. It's quick, to the point, hopefully, and just something that I've learned over the years. I've edited hundreds of thousands of images. I've photographed 1 million images out of my cameras. So sorting through narrative is just so key. Like I can sort a whole wedding in like an hour, hour and a half. And I recommend just doing it in one quick boom, just do it straight through. Editing, I will visit back and forth, throughout a couple days, but usually all of my weddings are shot on Saturday, turned around on Wednesday, and maybe deliver them on Thursday after they're uploaded. And so sometimes it's fun to send it to them on their 1-week anniversary. But I like getting it done, getting it out. I can move on to the next wedding. I can clear my cards. And so that's why I deliver so fast. I don't think it's necessary. I don't even know what the industry standard is, but that's what works for me. So that's the end of this one. If it's helpful, like and subscribe. That helps me continue to create these videos. And thanks for everyone who has. I think we might hit 3,000 subscribers today. So that'd be cool if that happened. And yeah, have a good one.